Hi folks, I'm Matt and welcome to My Expanded Universe, a show where I go through the entire EU in chronological order as best I know how. Folks, we're going to talk about a novel written by one of my favorite authors, Troy Denning. But before I do that, let me talk about a short story that came out. I think it came out right before the novel was released. It was called A Forest Apart. Now this is also written by Troy Denning. I had to buy the ebook. I was not big on getting ebooks, but back then they were doing these short story ebooks here and there, and I was like, I didn't want to buy them, but I was like, okay, fine, I'll get this one. And later on, I think it came out in the paperback of Tatooine Ghost. I was like, no, I wouldn't have even bought it on ebook, but I did go back and buy it. Anyway, what is A Forest Apart? Well, A Forest Apart stars Mala and Lumpy from the Star Wars Holiday Special. Yes, they are back. And when I read that, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be good. Now, basically, Mala travels to Coruscant. She brings Lumpy there, or Lumparo as they say it, and she wants Lumpy to spend more time with Chewie because he's not getting enough time with his dad. And during this, Lumpy goes after, and they're not calling him Lumpy, they call him Lumparo, but it's Lumpy. Come on, give me a break. He goes after some burglars who burglarize the Solo's apartment. And so he just chases them into the underworld of, the dangerous underworld of Coruscant, because Lumpy truly is brave. And A Forest Apart, I guess he's not in the forest anymore, but this is it's the city jungle, baby. I really did love and enjoy this short story. The moment I heard that Molly and Lumpy were in, I was like, yes! I think this may have been my first connection, or one of the first connections I remember reading about. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. There's another one that came out before that, but I'll review that one later. But this one was one of the few connections that we had to the holiday special. Now, I'd already seen the holiday special, and I was kind of bummed that they never really talked much about, Chewbacca's family. But this is one of the short story that had all those characters, and it's great because not that I want the holiday special to be canon, see canon with everything, but I just like that they're incorporating those characters into the expanded universe. It's always interesting to hear about them, and I was very excited. Now, is the story that good? No, not unless you're wanting to hear about Chewbacca's family a little bit more, but I really enjoyed it. Okay, so now let's get to Tatooine Ghost, written by Troy Denning. In this one, Han and Leia are basically traveling around, going different places, and they're collecting Alderaanian art. And they travel to Tatooine because there's some Alderaanian art, a moss painting. It's called Keelik Twilight. And Han, Leia, Chewie, and 3PO go down there to bid on it, to win it, because Leia's like, oh man, I want to collect anything that was from old school Alderaan, because that's kind of hard to find now. What they don't know is there's another bidder involved. And I don't know who that bidder is, but we know it's Thrawn. Thrawn has sent some representatives because he wants that moss painting too, because he's all about art. Aha! It's connected to Thrawn. Yes, we should love this book, right? There's also some squibs in it too. They are the comedic relief in this one, and they are really funny. They're kind of they're three little shysters that are trying to pull the wool over Han and Leia's eyes a little bit. They're trying to cheat some people out of some deals, but they're lovable miscreants, so to speak, and they're very well written. Now, during Tatooine Ghost, Leia also finds information about a young Annie on Tatooine, and she finds out some information about her father. Now remember, as Tatooine Ghost, when it came out, the prequels had already come out by this point, so they knew more about Anakin and Darth Vader's past. So this book was designed to basically say, yeah, and now Leia's finding out a little bit about that episode 1 past there. I think they run into a grown-up Kipster too. Kipster? Man, I can never remember that guy's name. But anyway, they run into a grown-up one of him too, I think, who tells a little bit of a tale of Leia's father. And this is one of the rare instances where Del Rey goes back into the New Republic era to write a story. For the most part, Del Rey stayed away from that New Republic era. They just left that as Bantam's era, and they moved on. They moved past that, the New Jedi Order, or they'd go back before, you know, the New Republic. That's usually was their strong points. Very rarely did they make a book that took place in the New Republic era or the Bantam novels. And this is one that they shoehorned in there. And I didn't like it. In fact, I think this is Troy Denning's worst book. And I love Troy Denning, but I did not enjoy this at all. First off, they're trying to shoehorn another adventure into an already crammed Bantam era there, the New Republic. Secondly, I don't really like that, you know, she's finding about young Annie winning a pod race a long time ago. I was like, we don't need this. This is not the way I want Leia to find out about her father, and that she knew the whole time, but we didn't mention this in any of the other Bantam novels, because back then Bantam wasn't allowed to talk about Darth Vader's past. So that they felt the need to shoehorn this story in, I was not for. Again, like I said, the squibs are really funny. It made it a fun read. Of course, Thrawn's, you know, secret involvement, trying to get that painting, like, ooh, Thrawn. But even with all those elements, I did not like the story. And again, loving Troy Denning too, because I already knew Troy Denning. He'd already established his name in New Jedi Order. So when I saw he was making Tatooine Ghost, I was like, yes. But this was just, it was a swing and a miss for Troy Denning, in my opinion. In fact, I think it may be the only book from Troy Denning that I just really didn't like, or didn't enjoy that much, I should say. Again, fun characters, fun ideas, but a lot of the stuff just seemed forced. We're being force-fed connections that we really don't need at this point, but maybe that's just me. All right, folks, that's all the time I have for now. See you next time with another video.